All right, folks, another Friday here, and so we say happy holiday ahead to our Muslim brothers and sisters. Welcome to another hangout too. I'm Citizen Jones Hussein. Today on the program, Nobel laureate Professor Soyinka urges President Buhari to declare state of emergency in southwest Nigeria following rising insecurity. Kogi APC suspends deputy governor over alleged anti-party activities. And then, of course, later on, soccer fans are excited, and why not, as the 2019-2020 English Premier League kicks off today. I'm hanging out with Dare Odufaokon. Dare, good evening to you. Yes, you know, our brother Majid Jamiu is, can't wait for Ileya. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
That's it.
As a good Muslim there.
Okay, so the team is ready. I hope you are. You know, talking very seriously now, there is no such thing as a perfect security situation anywhere. We are dealing with varying degrees of insecurity in our country. Oddly agitated by the degree of insecurity in his native southwest zone, Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka has urged President Muhammadu Buhari to declare a state of emergency there. He made the call in Akure, the Ondo State capital, on the occasion of his 85th birthday celebration. To the poet, let me quote him, "There are many directions of security lapses. You know it here, especially in Ondo State. It's a calamity throughout the whole nation. There is an emergency," end quote. At 85, Professor Soyinka cannot be denied a perfect birthday gift, which is a peaceful southwest region near the country. Okay then.
There's an emergency. I think there should be a declaration of a security emergency throughout the land and measures taken accordingly. That's all I wish to say at this point. There are too many directions of security lapses, very many directions. You know it here, especially in Ondo State. It's a calamity throughout the whole nation, and so there's an emergency.
Dare, at 85, he cannot wish for anything more than a peaceful southwest near the country.
And if, for those who know Professor Wole Soyinka very well, even before now, he has never wished for anything more than a peaceful Nigeria. On many occasions, he had to even stake his very life to ensure peace and good governance in his native country. But if at this age, he's still having to bother about an insecure nation, especially his native southwest, where in the last couple of months, it's been like doomsday has been unleashed. You traveling anywhere in the southwest, especially along that corridor, the Lagos, Ijebu, Ore, Benin axis, has become a nightmare. I have overheard the friend saying from Benin, people pay as much as 70,000 naira for flight to get to Lagos, simply because everybody wants to avoid traveling by road. And he said he traveled from Lagos and booked a return ticket. A lot of people did too. But when they got to the airport to take their already booked ticket, the plane was already overloaded because new persons paid.
And your plane has no room for standing passengers.
So that's just a way of telling you how serious this. When people, somebody would say, if he does not have enough fund to do to and fro from Benin, he would rather never go to Lagos again, no matter how much you want to pay him. Isn't that already an emergency? Can we now say Professor Soyinka didn't get it right? I think no. He said the obvious. And the government should begin to look at the worries of people like him. People like Wole Soyinka have paid their dues. And the best we can wish them in this their old age is to let them have reasons to even rejoice. As it is today, from what he said in Akure, he has no reason to rejoice about the entity called Nigeria. And that he made very, very clear. So the insecurity situation is such that the old, the young, the weak, the mighty, the rich and the poor are worried. And when you have a situation like that, the best thing a good government can do is to obviously declare an emergency.
Yeah, yeah. Majid, I'm thinking crazily now of the book, You Must Set Forth at Dawn. It is dawn here, it is not too late.
Yeah, for somebody like me, I'm from Akure State, and my parents are there. I travel to Ekiti like twice every month, and it's like a nightmare, and people wonder, how do you do it? Because it's really, really scary. I mean, he who feels it knows it.
Yeah.
Each time I travel on that road, I have my heart in my mouth. The other time, Jide came to Kogi, he was passing through Ekiti. I was monitoring him almost every 20 minutes to ensure until he got to Lagos safely. Wole Soyinka couldn't have put it better. I mean, it's really scary. I mean, we should go beyond the security summit that is being organized by the Southwest governors, because the real security apparatus is still being controlled by the federal government. So there's little or nothing the state governments can do without the support of the federal government. And that's why it's calling on the president to act. When Chief Falai was attacked in his farm, I mean, about 2 years ago, I mean, he was lucky to be alive to tell the story. A couple of weeks back, she fashioned his daughter, Mrs. Olakuri. I mean, was not that lucky. She was shot. About a week ago,
we can say same for those other Nigerians, not to,
many of them.
Many. I was coming to that just last week on Bini Ore. I got a distress call on the J4 end when you leave Ore, coming to Lagos, to Ijebode. Shortly before the 5 redeemed pastors were kidnapped around that same area. I mean, somebody called me that they were in traffic for about 1.5 hours. Nobody could move. I mean, there was no traffic coming from the Shagamu end because these marauders, these bandits were operating on the road until a detachment of security men came to their rescue. I mean, that was just last week. So I think beyond rhetorics, beyond all this call for, I think there must be an action plan. Now, what do I mean? There are some security equipment that costs between $1.5 million and $2 million that could be deployed. If you put one in Akure, for example, it will cover like 100 kilometers radius. It will monitor even a cockroach. Any living thing that moves, you will see it. So, and our people, they have access to some of these facilities, but because of bureaucracy, getting the thing, because they are not manufactured here, getting the thing imported and the logistics of who bears the cost, is it only Ondo State or is it the Southwest and what have you?
Yeah, Majid, but still staying on it, if you recall what Professor Soyinka said when he tasked governors of the Southwest region, he had a reason for doing that.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That it's not something. If you're talking about $2 million, you're talking of about 700 million naira, and it's not something that's Ondo. Most of these problems happen within Ondo, Ekiti, and part of Ogun, because if you look at that J4,
the forest.
The forest is is Ondo State going into Ogun and part of Osun State. That's where the J4 is.
Moji, let's play safe here. The entire Southwest, as indeed the country.
Yes,
it's under
siege. It's under siege. So now, if you deploy some of this, I mean, the Nigeria can afford to buy even one each for a state. It's about, I mean, pull out resources from
from
the external reserves, get a National Assembly, or under security, you can make some funds available. And people, and when we start seeing the results, you see, because we can't be carrying arms or pursuing these bandits physically. There has to be a technology approach if we really want to get serious about getting, because these guys are also getting smart.
All right, and they are criminals amongst us. The society produced them. Daryl, but let's stay with Governor Rotimi's statement at the occasion. He said, let me quote him, the country had allowed unreasonable competition, ethnicism, tribalism, corruption, and economic ownership of the nation to slow down the pace of self-realization, end quote.
Well, and he is also pointing out to reasons why we are. While I may not want to disagree with him, I quickly want to add to what the issue here is, we must be cautious. It's an emergency because, one, the nation is fighting a war in the Northeast. And we are using every means possible to ensure that we win that war. We must not lose sight of the fact that some of the elements escaping from that axis, harmed, tired of warring, but not having any other means of livelihood, will still take to petty crime. And when they come this way, to them, to people...
You call this petty crime?
I'll tell you why I use that term. To people who've been in the bush for 4 or 5 years, facing death on a daily basis, kidnapping somebody and asking for money, to them looks petty. So they see it as, okay, this is safer. Let's do this and enrich ourselves. So the same way the government is tackling the insurgents in the Northeast is the same way it must take the issue of kidnapping and banditry serious in other parts of the country. Take a look at this. If we don't do that, we're in the Southwest. We're talking about the Southwest now, talking about Soyinka and Governor Akure. On many occasions, victims who are lucky to survive these kidnappers come to us and say they are from this particular tribe. On many occasions, the police get to arrest some of these people, and we all get, we saw that they belong to this particular tribe. If we don't quickly stop this...
We have talked about ethnic profiling, which is dangerous.
It's dangerous, but that's why I'm telling you on many occasions. It's not as if we didn't have crime in the Southwest before. We had. But what is the danger of this new trend? The danger is it could even encourage ethnic profiling. Because if we continue to have the impression that Yorubas in the Southwest are being attacked by certain people, it will promote what we don't want to promote. So the government must be seen to be up and doing. Crime has no color or tribe.
But I know you are going to agree with this.
Yes.
There is never a desperate situation. We only have desperate men and women. And that's what is playing out.
And that is what is playing out.
Now, the politicians, the political class, produce these people.
Yes.
And only they can checkmate them.
And how can they checkmate them? By also being desperate to solve this problem. If you have desperate criminals, do you think Kids Glove would stop them? These are guys who have faced death on many occasions, and they still want to continue what they are doing.
Again, let's expand the call by Professor Soyinka. He tasked the governors of the Southwest do something because he knows they can.
And they've not been doing it.
Soyinka mentioned issues. He said the security situation in the Southwest, albeit in the entire country. Is calamitous. And by extension, you see, if you look at things that happen immediately after elections, like when he mentioned the issue of our politicians, and which we also corroborated, our politicians, quote unquote, most of them do some of these characters during electioneering.
And this is like for them, this is an off season.
That is it.
No politicking, and they are harmed.
That is it. And look at what we have with the robbery issue. they came to allege that one of the principal actors, I mean, one principal politician in Nigeria was arming them. I don't want to mention names there because the case is in court, but people know what I'm talking about. They said he even provided them vehicles. They were paying them. But that when these funds were not forthcoming, they had to help themselves. Now, after electioneering, most of these guys will be empowered. They will buy them a lot of stuff, some of these politicians. And after the elections, whether they win or lose, they don't want to continue to fund these characters again. And these characters, they still have those ammunitions with them, and they needed to eat. And they are used to a particular lifestyle. So, coupled with the fact that, like he mentioned, we have those bandits, Boko Haram renegades.
Sorry, we have company. Abdullahi is reaching us from Abuja.
Yes.
Brother Abdullahi, I greet you. Welcome.
Good evening, Hussein, Mojid, and the other.
Odu Falcon.
Dari.
We are black.
Yeah, black man.
I am
Dari.
Abdullahi Bajar calling you from Abuja.
Okay then.
Welcome.
Thank you for doing a wonderful job.
Thank you, sir.
A person, a serious person like Soyinka is something that we have to look into. Because we can't allow our country to be hands for the few people. The country with about 200 million people. What is worrying me most is about that the other one where he talked about the reason he talked about ethnicity and the so like that. The way he's talking is good because he never called them any tribe name. If this country is moving like that, we will unite more than what we.
Well, so you see, the answer is in the question.
Yeah.
What to do? Where do we go from here? Now let's digress a little. We know that the East-West Road has this. That's the road between Benin and Ogoni in River State.
Yeah.
All 5 governors can do something about it.
Yeah, south.
South, yeah. They can. From
Edo,
Delta,
Rivers,
Bayelsa, Akwa Ibom. They can do something.
Yeah.
The
same way the South,
same way you go to the Southwest
can also do something.
Yes, I mean from Lagos, Ogun. That's the corridor. You move from Lagos, Ogun. You are heading towards Ondo. You have the J4 forest we just spoke about. On that axis. And this same route will take you to Ekiti, take you to Osun, Oyo, because the Ibadan road too is connected. And daily, we hear stories of our people being butchered. Daily, we hear stories of our people threatening, because this is something we should also talk about, threatening to engage in reprisal attacks if this continues. And we, as a people, or those in power as a government, are yet to see danger. It is worrisome. Professor Soyinka is, like I said before, is saying the obvious. It is in our own interest to now declare a state of emergency in the security sector. What do we do, like you asked? What we should do is what he already mentioned. The governors must come together, one. The federal government must prosecute this issue of insecurity in every part of the country the same way it is prosecuting the insurgency in the Northwest. I mean, in the Northeast. Why am I saying this? Whenever there is need for fund to prosecute the war, the National Assembly swiftly would say, oh, because it's an emergency, we are releasing fund. They are not waiting for the governors of Borno, Yobe, Gombe to come up with the money. Adamawa, to come up with the money. No. The governors also are not folding their hands. We hear them daily talking about how much they are spending on security. If we realize that Nigeria is at a stage where if we don't find a way to stop these killings, every Nigerian will feel a sense of entitlement to protect him or herself.
And sometimes when you hear cynically that many people, it pays many people for this bedlam to continue because they are gaining by it.
Not many people. A few people.
And also, I think a responsive government, should not blame this on opposition. You see, Because we've had this call that, it's that some of this armed banditry and unwholesome situation that we have in our hands are being projected orchestrated and sponsored by the opposition. Now, you go after the root cause. I mean, one of them was arrested recently and said he's been trained in Libya.
Sorry, quickly, let's reach, Abraham is reaching us from London. That's the Queen's country. We greet you, sir. Welcome.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, how do you do?
Thank you for the work you people are doing.
Yes, sir.
Miss Jide today.
Okay.
The issue is this, they need to decentralize the police, regional police, not state police, because people are afraid of state police, because state government, they can use it for their own purpose. But when you have 6 states, having, like Southwest region, they should have 1 police. Northwest region, they should have 1 police. Southeast, 1 police. They should have, with different uniform, and but they should cooperate within themselves. If somebody commit crimes in Southeast, should be able to alert those in Southwest that also crime has been committed. So not until you decentralize, because it will be impossible for a state governor to make use of the police if you have regional police. Regional police is what will solve the problem. Even Northwest we are talking about, if you have regional police, they will be able to solve the security problem there. Because if one regional police is doing well, other regions will try to emulate them. That is what I want to say.
Many thanks. Again, that would require somebody going to the National Assembly.
Carrying with rules.
And then, time is of the essence.
Aside that, even, who controls the regional police?
That's it.
Who controls the regional police? Until we have restructuring, you cannot have a regional IG if you don't have a regional head of government.
We have zona commands. Zonal AIGs.
Yes. And then we have it in operation now. If it is not working, I don't see how we can replicate it in the name of region.
Basically, our governors, especially at those different zones, we have the Southwest Governor Zone, we have the Northeast. I mean, we have.
South, I know that.
Yes, they should. Beyond speaking grammar, they should come together, probably get some things out of their security votes and tackle this, because the main purpose of governance is to secure lives and property of the citizenry. And to create which creates a conducive environment for, not just for work, but also for good livelihood. So that is what democracy is all about. But as it is, things are really getting out of hand. The level of criminality is very high.
And when Governor Rotimi talks about a policy of inclusion is needed urgently. That's arising from what he said because of the unreasonable competition.
The competition is an everyday thing. It is when it becomes unhealthy that we have problems. And if you talk about unhealthy competition, which I would rather call rivalry, it stems from politicking. So it will take politicians to solve that problem. The moment they decide to put aside unready rivalry and find solution to this thing we are talking about, we'll get the problem solved tomorrow.
All right, the debate continues, but on a very lighter note, I think the Hangout would love to say a happy birthday to Professor Wole Soyinka. But gentlemen, the man is not just 85 years old. He's 18 years old with 67 years experience. That's coming a long way.
I like that.
So a happy birthday to you. All right, then to our next story. Kogi APC suspends deputy governor over alleged anti-party activities. We'll return shortly. Okay then, political scientists and theorists would always talk about 2 types of anti-party sentiments, the extremist and the populist. The first type is going out of vogue, especially in our environment, while the second, which consists of stepping on big and sore toes, has taken root in our caustic jurisdiction. Kogi State Governor, Deputy Governor Elder Simon Achuba, in the preceding months, had become like a gathering storm for him. It kept him on the edge of his seat. Everything came to a head on Thursday when the All Progressives Congress, APC, in the state suspended him for anti-party activities before, during, and after the 2019 general elections. State Party Chairman Abdullahi Bello insists the number 2 man in that state is known to have worked for a rival candidate in Kogi State. That's politics, Dare, for you.
Well,
like
politics,
yeah.
Politics are la Kogi, because
La Kogi.
Yeah, la Kogi, because over the years, especially since 2015, I'm beginning to have the impression that Kogi State politics is different from the politics of every other part of the country.
By the way, that's Jide's state.
No, he ran away today deliberately because he knows we want to discuss his state.
I won't agree with that, because no, Kogi is on loan. I mean, Jide is on loan to Ekiti State.
On loan to your state.
Yeah, because we had our own share of the deal where we had.
And that's how he came over to help you. I mean, participate in.
When we had Fayose in Ekiti, but now it's Jide's.
No, Kogi is becoming something unimaginable. Because every day, the happenings in that state reminds you of things that should not be happening. I would want to say this to the ruling All Progressive Congress. For a serious party that lost not 1, not 2 of its choice states in the last general election, largely to its inability.
The losses were by choice.
That's
because
right.
They refused to play by the rules.
And the chieftains decided to put personal ambition over and above collective interest in these states. The national leadership of the party, in most cases, either did not respond promptly enough or chose to look the other way, like the Zamfara example, hoping that things will sort itself out, which never happened. And by the time the cloud cleared, APC was nowhere to be found in Zamfara. There will be a replay in Kogi if they are not careful. The Kogi situation is such that the people of Kogi State, tired of the shenanigans and the obvious disorganization of the ruling APC, would rather, at the slightest opportunity, jump into the next available alternative.
But don't you think among politicians, things like this are orchestrated for reasons best known to them? They must be enjoying it.
It happens. But if you look at Kogi, if anybody is orchestrating trouble, if persons are orchestrating trouble, I will put the governor himself at the top of the list. You are the man in charge.
You are the father.
You are the leader of the party. You are the father of the people. When the opposition within or outside your own party comes up with orchestrations, you have all it takes to straighten out the issues. Be more statesmanly, be more fatherly, be more matured, and a lot of these things will not happen. You see, when I look at Kogi, I put Kogi State and the happenings therein aside the not too young to rule agitation, and I am always disappointed. The governor is now, forget this party has suspended the deputy governor. The governor is after, from day one. One, people must understand what happened in Kogi. The deputy governor was the party's choice, some form of consensus. Okay, let's look for somebody acceptable. The governor had no direct contribution to the emergence of this man, because at that time he was himself embattled. There was need to balance the situation. Then the deputy governor was presented to him. He had no choice. Given what he was facing at that time, he accepted. But it appeared as if from the very first day, he never wanted to work with this man. It started with, you see, a lot of governors, before now, even during this dispensation, are giving their deputy governors specific roles to play in governance and in the party. Yeah. Look, we give you this ministry, man it. Others who are not giving ministries are giving specific assignments by the governor regularly. And you see them, I mean, we have moved away from, you will notice that we are no longer hearing this phrase as much as spare tire. Because it appears that the deputy governor are no longer spare tires. You see the governor, you see the deputy. The governor is moving in this direction, the deputy is doing this. Just like if you look at President Buhari and the vice, they set this example. That you can, I don't think any sane person will call Osinbajo a spare tire in this administration from 2015. Yeah. He's always in charge of one thing or the other. He's at the economic team. And he's doing it pretty well. Where there are emergencies in some states, you will see him, the president will say, my vice president is there. Yeah. And you see him coming with results. A lot of governors followed in this tradition. And we are seeing results in those states. Look at what is happening in Lagos. If you are not seeing Sanwo-Olu as his deputy together, you are seeing Sanwo-Olu at one event, the deputy is at the same time somewhere else. Yeah. But we saw a Bello that would rather delegate many commissioners and even personal aides and leave his deputy. This went on for so long. At first, we were just not hearing about the deputy governor until he came out to say, look, the governor is not giving him anything to say. That was about 2 years ago. He first complained. Then the party waded in and they said they resolved it, only for us to hear again that he has not even been paid for months and years.
We'll get to that.
So if the governor must be able to come out and tell not just the party, but Nigerians why it is difficult for him to work with his deputy. And here is a man seeking another term. I think at this point in time, he needs to be more sportsmanly. But to the surprise of many Nigerians, Governor Bello is carrying on as if with or without anybody,
and care must be taken so you don't shut the stable door after the horse.
Oh, well,
mine is his suspension. The suspension of the deputy governor is to hold rather, pending the DG's response to a query. The party is to serve him. How do we rationalize that? You're on suspension. They're supposed to be. But you respond. But you're on suspension, and the query is yet to get to you.
Yeah, let me explain how these things work.
Okay, Dare, he has been there.
Of course, you can see that I'm turning to.
Politics is a very nasty game.
Oh, really?
The governor controls the structure of the party in most cases, except for a few exemptions, right, like Lagos. Now, the moment Yabelu emerged, under the circumstance, we know about the Falike issue and the Audu faction. Now, I expect that having won an election in that circumstance, it will be a unifying factor. At a point, Dino was his very close ally. I could remember on inauguration day, Dino was the master of ceremony. But today, they are after each other. How come this is a governor? Everybody is talking about you. You are the only one who is the saint. And I have so many friends in Kogi. It's unfortunate our Jide is also from that state.
But I would have loved to have him here.
Honestly, now, seriously, I see a disaster waiting to happen in Kogi because there was a viral video of the deputy governor alleging that his life was under threat from the agents of the governor.
It got to as far as his gate and
yes,
very funny looking man.
Yes, he addressed a press conference, so it's not heresy or just a mere allegation. Now, we are at the eve of an election, and this is happening. Now, talking about the suspension and his response to query, like I said, I started by saying the governor, in this case, Yaya Bello controls the structure of the party. He has his men there because there has been a Congress which enabled him to put his men there. So, right from the word, the governor, the deputy governor, Elder Achuba, was suspended by the ward ESCO. Now, the ward will issue a query. They give him a certain number of days to respond. Whether he responds or not, I mean, they know how to do these things. They would now send it to the local government level, which ratified what the ward did, and they sent it to the state. I mean, it's like the governor is the de facto chairman of the party in the state. So the state also ratified. Now, I want to also believe that the state working committee of the party, I mean, having ratified this, will now send another report to the National Working Committee headed by Adams Ochiomole. So you can see the layers, and from the body language of the National Party, it's like they are with Yaya Bello, because I expect that something concrete ought to have been done. And for a party, I mean, we are facing a similar situation also in Ondo State. And these are parties, I mean, these are states that are on a fringe. You can't say...
Very slippery.
Very slippery. You can't say APC has a clear-cut majority in these two states, Edo and...
And they are not traditional APC states.
They are not traditional APC states.
They are not traditional APC states.
So the more reason that the party needed to be a bit careful. I mean,
But you people, come on. You are talking about parties as if the parties, they say the hood will define the monk and so on. Only party names change. Politicians are the same.
Yeah, but when you already find yourself in power, and you control the resources to make things work. It is worse than when you are in the opposition and you are struggling. What we are saying is, the governor, having spent almost 4 years, have shown his party, the ruling party, the extent to which he can accommodate people. The extent to which he can work with people.
Manage human resources.
Manage human elements, as well as bring cohesion to the house he has been mandated to lead. If the party, right from the national leadership, is serious, the word came out and said, we have suspended the deputy governor. I expect the national, that like they have done on some occasions, to say no, that your decision is null and void. If not for anything, because this is the eve of an election. But because they feel we need the governor. We have seen this happen. It happened in Bauchi. Bauchi State in that election. Every prediction before the election was that you filled the current governor, APC lose. It happened in Adamawa. We said it 8 times without number. That if the APC fills your man there, you will lose. You see, these are issues. Zamfara case was even different. The issue in Zamfara was the inability of, you see, anybody...
No, but how do you divorce what happened in Zamfara from what is happening in Kogi?
It's a bit different.
No. It's the same personal interest overriding national interest.
Simple. And then we saw it almost in Kano. But for Providence and some last-minute maneuvering, the APC by now should know one thing. Maybe they are just pretending. Nigerians now have 60% chance to decide who will rule them. It is no longer about what the godfathers want or what the party wants. And if a party is serious, you already know that. You will put in your best foot. But they are not doing that.
Majid, Deputy Governor Elder Simon Achuba says, 1, the governor refused to pay workers over months. 2, wasting time fighting perceived enemies. And 3, embarking on white elephant projects across the country. White elephants across the state, rather.
This is a governor that inherited about 70 billion wage bill from the past administration. And the federal government, the Buhari administration was gracious enough to ensure that the bailout was not released to the former governor. So he got a bailout of 57 billion. What did he do with it? I mean, now I heard about between 15 and 18 months salaries are still being owed in Kogi State.
That's aside the arrears.
Aside the arrears.
That's aside the arrears.
Which means he's been there for about 30-something months.
And he has paid for 15 months.
He has paid for just about 15 months. It's inexplicable.
And the governor is telling his deputy, if you are aggrieved, go to court.
Go to court.
Oh, but what will you go and do in court?
And thank God, he didn't have enough members of the House of Assembly to institute an impeachment program, because they...
Yeah, that was also on the cards.
It's on the card, but I doubt if that will work.
Yeah.
But that's why they are coming in.
It will be too obvious.
Yeah, that's why
there are members of the House that have vowed the deputy will not be impeached.
That is it.
Now, the other way around. You see, the issue is also about the ticket of the party. If he gets the ticket, he wants to change his deputy. He wants to drop
that's the only thing.
And then this man is... and still remain the candidate of a particular faction in the party. They call themselves the non-aligned. They are neither here nor there. They say, okay, take our man, we'll watch what you guys are doing. Yeah. Now he wants to dump him. He must call a dog a bad name in order to hang it. And that's what you see. The assembly, the proceedings are there going back and forth. Then they felt, look, let's leave that. It seems I'm not controlling these people. Let's go to the party. World chairman, come, go and suspend this man. And you know how politics runs in Nigeria.
Even if they end up suspending him, which they might get to do at the end of the day, they cannot remove him except through the House of Assembly.
Okay. Again, in politics, 2 times 2 is 22, not 4. Okay, then, the debate must continue. Should Kogi governor ride the storm? Is he riding the storm? Is he going to laugh last? We don't know. We watch and wait. All right, then. We'll be joined by Solomon, our in-house sportsman, for something you'll be interested in. Please stay with us. All right, then. You know, in England, the football season is next to Christian worship. The English Premiership League, or EPL, opens this evening, and for the next 38 weeks, it is soccer frenzy for fans, fever for punters and bookmakers, and a shared derangement for bet-crazy folks who are watching from the sidelines. But the first action of the 2019-2020 EPL kicks off at Liverpool, home to the current UEFA Champions League. Liverpool FC, and they're called the Reds, they are hosting Norwich City, who are returning to the top flight after a 3-year absence, a 3-season absence. Euphoria is the name of the game. We have Solomon Ajuziogu, who couldn't wait, or could you?
Well, it's 3 months already, and the Premier League is here. You know, it comes with so much adrenaline pumping passion. You know, Nigerians are crazy about the EPL.
Even your peas are pumping.
This is the 3rd largest market, global market for the English Premiership in the whole world. So, so you will understand, you know, Nigerians have followed, maybe because of the historical and cultural links with the British or something, you know, but then Nigerians are expectant, and I think Arsenal fans especially, because I still maintain that they are, actually research shows that they have the largest fan base in Nigeria. So,
oh yeah, they do. And the single largest is in Akure Ibom State.
Okay.
Don't go to court. yeah. So, you know, Dare, I know, and Moji too, will be wondering in 2019, how come the English football scene has removed taking everybody's breath away, when our own league was at a time the talk of the continent.
Well, I don't think that didn't start yesterday. We, over the years, watched our own league going down. And ironically, while our league was dwindling, we were taken to the Premiership. And before we all knew it, it's about EPL. And then for many of us, people will expect I should be a die-hard shooting star or Remo star supporter.
Or Akure United.
Or Akure United. But let me confess.
Heartland of Owerri.
Heartland.
I
should be supporting
Ekiti Bombers.
It's in variance now. Yes, Remo Stars for me is my team. But Chelsea comes first. Because the sky is always blue. And then, you know, Chelsea comes first because why should I put Remo Star first when I may not get to watch their match 4-5 months at times because the league is resting?
And not just that.
Or when I know the result of the match
every home team
must lose.
No, must win.
I mean, must win, and the visiting team must lose. Before a match in Nigeria, our league, we sometimes know the result.
Yeah,
it's going to be 3-1.
I hope you won't. Solo, we are coming. You know, Jami, I hope you remember. Akure United needed to beat Calabar Rovers by 11 unreplied goals.
Got it.
But Akure United scored 13 past Rovers.
And they did not respond.
And Governor, what's his name now? My brother, my friend, Governor Duke disbanded the club till day after tomorrow. Yes. So that's our story. But let's take it, you know, the EPL is there, and no jokes, the punters, the bookmakers, and just about everybody.
It's an industry.
It is.
It brings together so many things, so many facets of life. You've just talked about sports betting, which is, well, it had always been here, but it has taken to another level. That is the further expansion of the passion for football, the EPL particularly. Because I was doing a study back in 2008 about the English Premiership, about football followership and the followership pattern of selected youths in Lagos. And one of the things you find out was, at the point of doing that research, it was like, okay, so what is the next level? This was about 12 years ago. What's the next level? Now we've seen the passion, we've seen that people are crazy about it. What is the next level? Then suddenly this sports betting thing came, and it has employed a lot of people. There's so much employment potential in football. Now, the other problem is you talked about the dwindling of the league. Now, we started the Premier League before even the EPL. And the English league was on the same level as the Nigerian league until the deregulation of the broadcast industry. Then Nigerians had access to European football, and there was like, oh, these guys have moved a notch further. And the people here haven't taken our football beyond the amateur level, the developmental level. They are not doing anything about it. They are working for themselves, for their pockets, and so the league is the way it is. So the English Premiership, as it is, it's now about who's going to win it. Will Manchester City win it back to back to back? Is Liverpool solid enough to challenge them? They came second the last time. Or will Arsenal, with all the shrewd business they did in the transfer market, be able to break back into the top four? These are the permutations now. And then will Wolves and Everton, with all the business they also did in the transfer market, break into the top four, or will Everton come into the top six?
Or will Chelsea find an extra tooth to bite?
I don't understand why Chelsea did the sort of business they did in a transfer. You have a transfer ban.
There's a fun here.
You have a transfer ban. You have a transfer ban. Then you allowed David Luiz to go. You allowed Eden Hazard to go. You allowed Danny Drinkwater to go on loan. And then what you have done is to bring back the young stars who have gone on loan. And I wonder what value they're going to add. What's going to happen to the team?
And
I worry for Chelsea.
Okay, and also, are you looking at Coach, what's his name?
Lampard. Yeah, the prediction at the moment is between Lampard and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who is going to be fired first. Ooh. That's what we're looking at. And that is a betting point, actually. That's now a betting point.
Yeah, that's one of them.
So it's not just about who wins, who scores the first goal, but who gets fired first. That's a betting point.
And hear this, Jamiu, this should hit you. You have Man United, Chelsea. This is coming on Sunday.
Yeah.
The two guys.
Yeah.
It's a grudge game.
It's going to be interesting, and also remember that Arsenal is also playing on Sunday. I'm Arsenal. And you see, when we talk about
Told them.
Yeah, they are hearing. And see, I still keep wondering why. I think there's a reason for Jide to have stayed away from it. Yes, because he's a Man U fan. Yeah. He's afraid of facing Larry.
We've always had it tough here.
He
knows what to have.
Same level, right?
No. We are starting fresh. It's a clean table.
Now, you see why?
He spoke about.
Let him take it.
Sorry, you see why the Premiership is moving up, and now it will be left Arsenal for Everton. 1.9 billion naira. That's, if you convert it, that's 40 million pounds. I mean, who can spend 10 million naira? Which club in Nigeria can spend, is it even 20 million naira to buy a player? Huh?
Heartland, I'm answering you.
Well, recently, Ifeanyi Uba did that. Unfortunately, we have a system that seems to destroy private investment.
Yeah.
You've seen private investment in the league. Yeah. You've seen how Leventis United, Abiola Babes, Iwaya National, Flash Flamingos, stationery stores, these private teams, how they've fizzled out of the league. Now, you have MFM coming up, a private team. You have Remo Stars, they are relegated, they keep getting relegated. You have FC Ifeanyi Uba, you have Go Round. If there is anything at all, if you want government to take a backseat so that private capital owners will develop the league, you need to encourage these private teams as people invest their money. Unfortunately, those who run the Nigerian league are people, many of them are people who have not invested a dime in the development of the game.
Are making so much.
And are making so much private money.
The establishment people.
So it is not the people who are investing their money that are running the thing. Like what Solomon did along with the sports federations. A lot of people vilify him, but I said, but he did something a lot of ministers haven't done. Okay, free up the space. Government officials shouldn't be on the board of the sports federations. Let the investors, let the owners of the sports do their thing.
Time. Dari, let's pick some matches. Newcastle, Arsenal.
Oh, well, as much as I still don't believe Arsenal has finally found the winning streak, I have monitored Newcastle and I don't see them being serious enough to challenge Arsenal this season. Okay. So it will go Arsenal away. But that may be, for many weeks, their only win. Because I took a look at the fixtures. Watch out, that could just be their only win for weeks.
An Arsenal fan to your left.
I'm not looking in that direction.
Who is asking you to remove your glasses so you can see properly?
No.
Okay, damn you, Man United, Chelsea. Man United, Chelsea.
Like you predicted, by Sunday we'll know who gets fired first. That's what I would say about that match.
All right, you take this. Liverpool, Norwich this evening.
Well, we expect that Liverpool, with the sort of team they have, will win that match. But you see, first games in the league can be very tricky. Teams are cautious, they are match rusty and everything.
That's it.
So we'll see how it turns out. But I do not expect Liverpool to lose to Norwich, even though Norwich will come with the vitality of a championship team. They keep running. They run a lot. And this is their first match. They could pull a surprise.
Okay, we draw the program to a close now. You may bet. You know where to bet.
Some people are not happy the league is coming back.
Who are these terms?
Housewives.
This is where the remote control changes.
I'm being watched from home, so I won't say more than that.
Come on. All right.
Usually, the beginning of the league is already a very tension-soaked in the homes.
All right, Solomon Ajuzogo, thank you for your time. May your team win. Dari Odufoko, many thanks to. Jamiu, Mojid Jamiu, I can't thank you enough. I'm Arsenal.
I'm Chelsea.
Good for you. That's it on the program for today and the week. A happy holiday one more time. It's going to be the longest weekend since the year began. And the weekend ends on Tuesday next week.
We're eating a lot of ram.
Good for you people. All right, so if you missed this program from the top, please watch the repeat at 11. You may also watch this program on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. The feedback channel remains the same. Meantime, I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Baraka to our Muslim brothers and sisters. Bye-bye now.